Attention passionate Chicago, Bears fans. Latest news, something big is happening in the NFC North and it could change the game. We're talking about a direct impact on Chicago Bears' path to another Super Bowl run, a power shift that could leave a division rival stumbling for years. We're bringing this to you firsthand. But before that, if you're a true Chicago Bears fan, subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion even more. Show that you're also part of this family. Let's help each other reach 1,000 subscribers. Share with your friends and Chicago, Bears fans. Let's get to the news now, folks. It's not every day you hear about a potential blockbuster move in the NFL, especially involving a player as impactful as Quentin Nelson. And right now, the NFL rumor mill is buzzing with speculation that the Indianapolis Colts might be eyeing a trade involving their star guard, Quentin Nelson, heading over to the Chicago Bears. This isn't just some idle chatter. It's rooted in strategic moves and a real understanding of what each team needs and what they're willing to give up. So let's break this down, because if this trade goes down, it could reshape the entire NFC North and significantly boost Chicago's chances of making a deep playoff run this year. First, let's talk about the Colts. They're sitting at 8-2, which is pretty impressive, but they've got a tight cap situation with only about $18 million left. That's not a lot of room when you're trying to extend key players like Anthony Richardson or fortify your defensive line, especially considering the high-powered offenses in the league. The Colts are a team that's built on a strong defense, currently allowing just 26 points per game, but they're also facing some cap crunch issues that make re-signing or extending certain players more difficult. One way they might choose to free up cap space is by trading away Quentin Nelson, a cornerstone of their offensive line. Trading Nelson, who's been a Titan in the trenches for 8 seasons, could bring in a second-round pick in the 2026 draft, giving the Colts some immediate cap relief and draft capital to focus on bolstering other areas like their secondary, where they're feeling the pinch financially. Now, Nelson himself isn't just any guard. He's a bulldozer, a destructive force in the run game, and a solid presence in pass protection. Over his career, he's played 122 games, made 7 Pro Bowls, and maintains a PFF grade of 88. 7 for his career, which is elite. His run-blocking efficiency is around 90%, and he's allowed only 15 sacks over his 8 seasons. Pretty impressive for a guard. In 2025, despite missing some games, he still posted a PFF overall grade of 87.6, which ranks among the best for guards in the league. His run-blocking grade was an astonishing 90.4, making him one of the most reliable and dominant interior linemen in the NFL. The Colts, with their focus on a balanced attack, could find real value in moving Nelson for a future pick, especially if they're looking to rebuild their cap space and focus on other needs like their secondary. But the Bears, folks, they're in a different position. Sitting at 6-3, they're fighting for a playoff spot, and their offensive line has been a clear area of concern. Allowing 28 sacks so far this season, they've struggled to protect Justin Fields and give their offense the consistency it needs to succeed. The addition of Nelson could be a game-changer. Imagine what he could do for this offensive line. His presence alone could elevate the entire unit. His ability to open lanes in the run game is off the charts. Projections suggest his yards per carry could jump from around 4.1 to closer to 4.8 if he's anchoring the line. That shift alone could turn the Bears' rushing attack into a nightmare for defenses, especially with players like Khalil Herbert and Donta Foreman running behind him. And let's not forget, this would give Justin Fields more time and space to operate, which is critical if Chicago wants to develop a more explosive passing attack. Now, I know what some of you might be thinking, but what about the cap hit? Well, moving Nelson can free up around $16 million in cap space for the Bears, giving them some flexibility to make additional moves or extend their key players. Plus, with the interior line upgraded, the Bears' run game could see a boost of about 20%, pushing their rushing yards from roughly 105 to around 135 yards per game. That's a massive difference. It would also help reduce pressures on Fields from around 35 to roughly 22, giving him more confidence to drop back and make throws without constantly feeling the heat. And speaking of pass protection, Nelson's presence could boost the Bears' pass protection EPA by around 20%, which means more consistent and efficient passing plays. His ability to elevate the line's overall performance would translate into longer pockets, more time for Fields to read the field, and a more balanced offense that can keep defenses honest. From a strategic standpoint, this move could be a real catalyst for Chicago's offense. Think about it. With Nelson anchoring the interior, the Bears could establish a more physical identity, something that's been missing for years. Not only does he bring elite blocking, but his leadership and experience, 7 Pro Bowls, are invaluable for a team looking to build a winning culture. Plus, his presence would create a more stable pocket, allowing Fields to develop better timing and rhythm, which is crucial as they gear up for a playoff push. It's also worth noting that the Bears have shown a willingness to be aggressive in the trade market this season, and acquiring a veteran like Nelson could be the move that pushes them over the top. Now, let's consider the ripple effects. For the Colts, trading Nelson might be a tough pill to swallow. They're still competing, especially with the defense being a strong point, but the cap space and draft capital gained could be used to focus on other areas of need, maybe bolstering the secondary or even adding a couple of younger linemen to develop for the future. For the Bears, this isn't just about adding a star. It's about transforming their offensive line into a strength rather than a weakness. It's about creating a foundation that can support a talented young quarterback like Caleb Williams or Justin Fields, depending on how the season plays out. And speaking of playoffs, the odds are already shifting. The Bears, currently sitting at plus 2,000 odds, could see a significant boost, potentially moving to plus 1,200 if they pull off such a trade. That's a jump of around 40%, a clear sign that the market sees this move as a serious upgrade. Bold step, but one that could pay off big time, especially if it helps Chicago grind out yards in cold, tough conditions in the playoffs, similar to their recent games against NFC North rivals like the Green Bay Packers or Minnesota Vikings. Beating a division rival in the postseason with a stronger, more resilient offensive line would send a message all across the league. So in summary, folks, this hypothetical trade of Quentin Nelson from the Colts to the Bears isn't just a pipe dream. It's a strategic move that makes a ton of sense for both sides. For the Colts, it's about cap management and draft capital. For the Bears, it's about elevating their offense to a new level and building a foundation for sustained success. The impact on the NFC North standings could be significant, and it's exactly the kind of bold move that could define the season for Chicago. Imagine a Bears team with a dominant interior line, capable of controlling the line of scrimmage, setting the tone for everything else. That's the kind of identity that wins championships, and with Nelson in the fold, that vision becomes much more realistic. Pause here just for a second. If you want the YouTube algorithm to keep recommending the latest Chicago Bears news to you, it's super important that you leave a like on this video. Go ahead, it's quick and it makes a big difference. Thank you. Now let us continue with the big reveal. And now, Chicago Bears fans, I want to hear from you. What's your take on this? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Do you think the Bears should go all in and make a move for Quentin Nelson? Would you be willing to part with a second-round pick in 2026 for such a game-changing player? Your opinion matters so much to us and to the Bears. Remember, the NFL season is full of surprises, and bold moves like this could be the key to finally breaking through and making a real playoff push. I'll be back soon with more updates, so stay tuned and keep supporting your team. Let's go, Bears!